And then, the mind frame, what you'd have to expect when you're dieting and you really want to get lean. Your common gym goer, at least in my experience right now, the most common person in the gym, and again, even people with, pretty good genetics, they have, I'm just throwing stuff out there, you know what I mean? I know everybody's first reaction is going to be like, I don't need that. But like, the most common gym goer would have like, I don't know, a big bowl of cereal that's not measured or anything like that, just a huge bowl of cereal and, I don't know, I guess a protein shake before they go to the gym, you know what I mean? And once they get to the gym, they have this sick pump and, everything's going well for them. They look awesome because they have that pump, and it's because you're loaded with glycogen. You have full glycogen stores. You are, your athletic performance is high because you have that energy source, but again, you have that pump, that your vascularity is showing because, of the way you've eaten all day and prior to your workout, mentally, that pump, the vascularity popping, the strength that you have, mentally, all that stuff it's a breeze to get through a workout that way. It's fun to get through a workout that way. When you're dieting, especially if you want to get shredded, which is what these people want, which is what people want in general, if you want to get shredded, if you want to have a six-pack and have veins in your hips, you're not going to be able to go to the gym and have a sick pump all the time. It's just not necessarily going to work that way. And listen, people know that the way that I diet is not necessarily going to be like, I don't expect anybody to follow anything like a ketosis diet where you're not having any carbohydrates or an extremely low calorie diet. That's, especially initially. I mean, I could probably start your most typical gym goer, 180 to 200 pound person is probably going to fall somewhere around like 250 grams of carbohydrates to start, their diet. And that's, I guess, that's real general, you know what I mean? Everybody's going to be different. But the point is, though, that, you're going to be eating. It's just the fact of the matter is you're dieting, you know what I mean? You are in a caloric deficit. You're not going to go to the gym and be able to, military press 225, when you are eating, 200 carbohydrates, 200 protein, or just 2,200 calories a day. You know what I mean? It's not going to happen when you're at 2,400 calories a day and you're really trying to lean up. You're not going to be able to go to the gym and work out for 2.5 hours like you normally do. You're not going to be able to go to the gym and, have a full, thick pump. And listen, this might be a process for certain people. Obviously, it all depends on how lean you are, but if you have some serious body fat that you have to get rid of, you're talking about going to the gym, flat and not as strong as you normally would be for, the next 4-6 months. Who knows? It really depends on the person. But again, it's not the most, I guess you could say comfortable, place mentally when you're training relative to, well, when you don't have a plan and you're just going in there and saying, fuck it, I'll eat whatever I want and I'm going to look good in the gym, that's easy. You know what I mean? Being shredded is not easy. So, that's one expectation is you have to understand that your training sessions are going to be different. You can't go in there with absolutely no plan every single day and just try to lift the heaviest things that you can. You should go in there with more of a plan than that because, strength will be affected, if not immediately, which really is the case. Most of the time, you can hop on a diet, clean up food a little bit, and it might take some time to see that, adjustment in terms of your strength or that dip in terms of your strength, but once that comes, you do have to adjust to it. You can't just go in there week in and week out and do the same 225, pound military press that you started for 10 reps and now you're down to 3 reps. It's not working anymore, bro. Cut it back. It's just not working at 225 anymore. So, the expectation's there, flat, so when you're flat in the gym, you feel smaller. It's not you have to kind of mentally be strong there and get past that. And then strength is something that you're going to have to deal with eventually in a cut if you're going to get that low in body fat. And then The other big thing is cardio. You know, your most common gym goer, especially the ones that I encounter, it seems like, you know, oh, if I don't go to the gym, I lose weight. You know, okay, if I don't, you know, if most people go to the gym, they get fat, you know what I mean? You know, if you're worried about doing cardio, or if you don't want to do cardio for whatever reason, you know, there's a good chance you're going to have an issue getting that lean. I mean, it's just a fact of the matter. I mean, it's a calorie deficit, you know, that gets us weight loss or fat reduction. It gets us that lean. Cardio is another way of creating a deficit or improving a deficit. The amount of calories that you burn when you do cardio, like I said, just adds to the manipulation of your calorie intake. So it's a very, very big part of the diet process, and it's just as important as the food that you're putting in your system on certain days. So you know, cardio is going to be important, even for those guys that, you know, have never done cardio before. They're like, oh, I had to work so hard to get to 190 pounds. But you know what? The goal has changed. If you're trying to get down to, you know, 165 pounds now to be shredded, you know, then you're going to have to employ some cardio. So, you know, strength, mental toughness, you know, understanding that you're going to have to get cardio in, having a plan. And, you know, I think the biggest thing overall for most people is going to be in the kitchen. You know, you cannot start a diet and expect that you are going to be able to do the same things that you do now. I'm telling you, what you do now is, and I can say this, even though it's you know, I'm talking to, you know, who knows how many people right now. I can say what you do now is go to work in the morning. You wake up, you know, you have, I don't know, something small to eat, a bowl of cereal. You have some Cinnamon Toast Crunch. You go to work. You hit Subway up at, you know, 12 o'clock. You have a foot-long sub with a bag of chips and a soda. You know, then you go home. You eat your bowl of cereal, your whey protein shake. You hit the gym, and then you come home and you have chicken breast and brown rice, and you think you eat healthy. You know, you're not going to be able to be going out to eat like that. I mean, it's just, you can't go down to, you know, the pizza place, you know, right next to where you work and get yourself a chicken Caesar salad wrap. That's not healthy, bro. It's not. Look at I guarantee you, if they had nutrition facts at that corner store pizzeria, whatever the hell it is, you know, I bet you that wrap probably has like 42 grams of fat, and you think like, oh yeah, the other dudes are eating pizza. I'm eating a chicken wrap. It's got protein on it. I'm healthy as shit. That's not the case, man. It's not the case. If you cannot track the macros of what you're eating, then you are not on a diet, period. You are not eating healthy, period. You know, I don't know how else to put it. You're not following a plan if you can't track the macros. That's the best way of saying it. You're not following a plan if you can't track the macros. You know what I'm saying? Yes, you can track the macros for the most extent from places like Subway, or just national chain restaurants. You know, you can find those macros, whether it's on their website and you can plug it into your calorie counter like MyFitnessPal, or you can usually find, you know, most variations and things like that. Like, let's talk Subway, for example. You know, I can find, you know, a turkey breast 6-inch sub with no mayo, no cheese, you know, that exact combination of what I'm going to get on MyFitnessPal. So, you know, there is ways of tracking your macros, you know, but I would prefer most people, you know what the macros are before they eat their food. You know, if you've already eaten, let's just say for argument's sake that your calorie intake is 1,000, which for nobody is probably going to be 1,000, but if you've already eaten 500 calories and you're going to get food from somewhere, you should probably know what those macros are, you know, because if it's 560 calories, you just fucked yourself for the day, you know, because you didn't, and trust me, those things, I mean, places get up there fast. Just because you can track the macros, the point is, doesn't mean it's safe. So you really have to know what you're going to consume before you consume it, and you have to know how many, you know, fats, carbs, and proteins it's going to give you before you consume it. You know, that's what these programs entail. So again, you're not going to be shredded, and to be honest, you shouldn't even be thinking about dieting, you know, if you've never been in a situation where you are preparing, you know, your food, and or just being able to cook your own food. Most of your food should come from things that you prepare yourself. I would say 90% of your food should be prepared by yourself. And again, you don't have to go crazy. We're not talking about eating 6 small meals a day with 2 hours exactly in between, or you're going to gain a whole bunch of fat. So you don't have to prepare all your food first thing in the morning and bring it with you in a fancy cooler to work. No, but the 2, 3, 4, 5 meals that you're going to have in a day, 4 of them should probably be prepared by yourself. And that last one, if you're going to get it from Subway or get it from something that's close to your house, you better know exactly how it's being cooked and what's going into it. You know what I mean? Otherwise, again, your plan is beat. You're not going to get to that low of a body fat percentage. And yeah, you can start a diet by going to Subway, being loose and having this and having that, as long as you are under your or within your macro ranges or under your caloric intake. But the fact of the matter is, if you're going to be shredded, there's going to be a point in time where you're probably going to have to cut a lot of the bullshit out of your diet. And yes, that's Subway. That is little things that you do right now. It might not seem like a big deal. I don't know. I'm just throwing things out there. But you might have to cut out things like your Chobani Greek yogurts, like your Honey Nut Cheerios, stuff like that. You're probably going to have to cut out at a certain point and either replace it with alternatives that are a little bit more efficient at keeping us full and supporting glycogen and energy levels, or you're just going to have to cut it out all in general for the sake of cutting calories to, keep the weight loss there, keep the weight loss constant. So, there's a lot to be said about hopping on a diet, and it's not as easy as just waking up in the morning and be like, I want to be 6%. You can't just do what you were doing yesterday to be at 190 and try to gain weight if you want to be at 6% body fat. It takes, an understanding, that shit changes. It's going to change. And it changes when it comes to your, workout lifestyle or fitness lifestyle, whatever you want to call it. Just about everything's going to change. It's going to, what you eat is going to change. How you measure your food and weigh your food is going to change. The workouts are going to change. The mental aspect of it becomes a little bit harder because you have to keep telling yourself over and over again, I'm going to see the results, I'm going to see the results, I'm going to see the results. And that's another thing too, guys, in terms of like the mental thing is, when you are dieting, it's hard to see that pound a week sometimes. It's there, but you don't just diet for 2 weeks, which feels like forever, and wake up shredded. You're losing a pound, 2 pounds, 3 pounds a week in certain cases, and sometimes maybe even more, but that's not always visible. That's why, I know for years people have been talking about, I don't use the scale, I just look at myself in the mirror. And that's good. Look at yourself in the mirror for sure. You want to be proud of the way your body looks. So check yourself out in the mirror and make sure that, everything is coming in where you really want it to come in, and be aware of your weak points and how you're building those. But, when it comes to the actual weight loss and being shredded, you're going to have to use a scale to really measure your progress. Otherwise, how do we know if this is working or not? Because ultimately, you're not going to be 190 at 25% body fat and then be 185 at 6% body fat. It's not, I can gain muscle, lose fat the same. No, you're not. It's not happening like that, bro. You're going to lose weight. And depending on the person, who knows, if you start at 190 and 20% body fat, I don't have a calculator to be doing math right now, but you're probably going to have to be down at like 160, 155 to be absolutely shredded. That's just the way it is. And next time you decide to bulk, you better not be eating fucking chicken nuggets from McDonald's, and then you wouldn't have to worry about this shit. You know what I'm saying? So, that's pretty much it. I mean, I know